Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Daina and I am the author of the book Live, Eat and Heal, The Way Nature Intended. This book is available on Amazon. This book is based on my personal journey from sickness to health. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, Systemic Lupus Erythematosus. Some know it as lupus or SLE, in my early 30s. I lost my hair, I went bald, I had migrating joint pains all over. I was in a mess. I would wake up tired first thing in the morning. No matter how much I slept, I would wake up as if I'd been running 5 miles. I had a nasty butterfly rash all over my face. I had migrating joint pains. Appetite was gone. And I obviously went to my doctors and I was told my inflammatory markers were really high and my own immunity was fighting my healthy cells. And I was started on some steroids, some anti-inflammatories, and some anti-rejection tablets. And I took these religiously for a good 10 years. My son during that time came over to me and said, "Mom, you don't need to be taking these tablets. You know you can heal by just changing your diet and lifestyle." And he gave me a book to read, but this book at that time contradicted what I had learned from the School of Nursing as an intensive care nurse and my experience as well, and what I had learned from the School of Life, and more so from the food pyramid, which we are using up to today. So I thought this book, they don't know what they are talking about, and I'm not going to follow it. So what did I do? I followed the route I knew best, and the route I knew best was popping tablets. I took them for 10 years, and then after 10 years I started having right-sided hip pain, and this pain was so severe I ended up going to theater 3 times for an epidural. And an epidural would comprise of Marcaine, which is an anesthetic, and some steroid. This would numb the pain, but then once it's worn off, after a good 3 months, the pain would come back again, and then I would go back to theater again. And that went on for the whole year until an MRI scan was done, and it showed that I had osteonecrosis of the right hip. So osteonecrosis means bone death. What was quite surprising about this bone death is I had been taking a tablet which was meant to make my bones stronger, because obviously the steroids would weaken the bones, but this tablet was meant to make my bones stronger, but it wasn't to be. I ended up with osteonecrosis. So I went to theater, and that necrotic part was chopped off, and I had a right total hip replacement. And then I still continued on my tablets. Never felt 100%, but I learned to cope. I think this is what happens with everyone with chronic illness. You learn to cope. As long as the symptoms are better, the pain is slightly better, you learn to cope. But that's not health. That's actually managing disease. So anyway, I continued. And then 3 years later, my left hip decided to join the system of osteonecrosis. Again, another osteonecrosis on my left hip. Went back to theater again, left total hip replacement done. And this time I had complications. I ended up with nerve palsy, and I had to be on crutches longer, and I had to wear some bracelets longer. But anyway, I still continued on my tablets, and my son was still saying, "Mom, you need to change your diet." And I didn't know what he wanted me to change, because as an intensive care nurse, I considered myself a very healthy eater. I used to go to the gym religiously. I was following the food pyramid. So where was I going wrong? I just ignored him. And then 3 years later, my left shoulder followed suit, osteonecrosis again. Then I went for my left shoulder hip replacement, and this one was quite a success, no complications. And at that point when I was in hospital, my son came to see me and he said, "Mom, I think you need to read this book." At that point, I decided to read the book, and just as I was reading it, I resonated with it. And I thought, wow, things need to change. The penny dropped. It was at that point where I had realized that this is not helping. I've been on medication, nothing is helping. I keep having joints chopped all the time. And at that point, I actually realized that chopping up the necrotic leg or necrotic part was just chopping out a symptom. I was still continued on what I now know was a toxic diet, and that did not help. So all my body was trying to do was to talk to me and say, "Do you know what? You need to change your eating habits." So I read the book, and this time religiously again, right to the end. And by the time I left the hospital, I was determined to change my diet and lifestyle. And at that point, I decided to take a new route. My friends were calling me bionic woman. Another friend used to call me carpentry lady because it was metal all over. And I thought things needed to change. So I changed my diet and my lifestyle. And as you can see, my skin is glowing. You can't even tell I had butterfly rash from lupus. My hair is all grown back. I actually have the luxury. I cut my hair but a few weeks ago because it's now spring in the UK. So it's amazing, this journey. And this is what I share in my book about my journey from sickness to health. My passion is if I can help someone out there to change their lifestyle so they can regain their health back, to be in charge of their health and feel good in themselves. We're meant to enjoy this life. This life is not about being in agony all the time, not enjoying your food. As long as you make the right food choices, I have learned you can enjoy life. You can have a glowing skin, no pain, wake up in the morning buzzing with energy like I do now. I mean, I didn't feel like this 25 years ago, but here I am, a new lease of life. And when Hippocrates, the Greek doctor, said, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food, I think he was very right. And I am a living testimony to that because I've made food my medicine and medicine my food. So remember to eat well, to live healthy. Please hit the subscribe button below and I'll be back again with more news about what you can get from my book and my detox diet, which you can find on my website, 21-Day Detox with Day. Just check the link below. Remember, eat well to live healthy. Bye.